In the last episode, we had found safety in a secluded tiny island surrounded by National Wildlife Refuge forest. We were able to escape the majority of the storm. This area in general is rather safe because if there was something to overflow the dam, it's more than 85 miles upriver from where I'm at. As we go down the Tennessee River, you have to get to Lake Pickwick before you hit your first dam that's above me on this river. Now, if something happens there where they have all the floodgates opened, it's not going to be a raging wave by the time it hits here. The other side of the river, which is north through Kentucky Lake, this whole area through here, I have gone back and forth 2 or 3 times with my houseboat and my sailboat along the entire journey. This is almost 100 miles north before we hit another dam, and that's downriver. So if that had to release or in some way was a catastrophic loss, my waterway would decrease by 10 foot. In this area that I'm at, we have a summer pooling that is more than 5 feet higher than our winter pooling. So the entire area is made to withstand rain and water. Every single dock in that entire span of river is a floating dock. It's not fixed. So it's able to go up and down that 5 feet and still work without having trouble. We annually see floods that are 4 to 5 feet higher than summer pooling that don't cause any serious damage to the waterway because it has the backwater area to handle the water, as well as the marinas are already established to do it too. So that means even though the water right now is in low pooling, the water that came from the rain has increased the levels here about 1 foot. And we are going to explore 2 back area creeks. We are headed out. It's supposed to be a very foggy, crabby morning, so I'm trying to get out of here before the sun comes up. Otherwise, I won't be able to see in the fog. Here's River. He's mad every time I leave him. Situation where I don't cross the river till I get to a bridge. That way you don't get lost. You just follow the bridge across the river until you can see the bank. So I keep close enough that I can see the bank on this side. And then I come up to a bridge at some point, we'll get there. And then I follow the bridge across until I can see the other bank, and then I can get to the marina that way. If all else fails, if you just take off across the river, a lot of times you get disoriented and the current pulls you in one direction and you end up going straight down river and missing where you're going, you know? The sun just started to come up and I can actually see the other side of the river now. What are you doing on my boat? We're gonna have to do something about that. He looked comfortable, like he was just been sitting there for a very long time too. You see how only its head is above water? It's just a water snake. It is harmless. Beautiful looking though. It's a very happy snake. Now my buddy stopped by and this snake just came up and started to get on his boat. Very different, even though it's the same color and it's a little smaller, very different snake. Watch how it completely floats because it's a copperhead.
There you go. Just went up somewhere else.
He's in the, like on the back of the motor. I don't see him over here. Oh, he's right there. I'm surprised a bird don't catch him. You could see that fucker for miles, dude.
Get a bass, just come out of water, come take his
Just
ass
eat it?
out. Yeah.
The water's up just enough to maybe sneak in here, so I'm gonna try, but we might not get in here. We'll see. There's a couple of people heading south. One back there too. A lot of snowbirds. One of those spots that if it flooded, you could come in here and this would be completely protected in here. It's just a little circle. This is awesome. Yeah, it's just a little circle in here with a tree stump. Oh no, look, there's a creek that goes this way. Oh my, look at that. Okay. I mean, look how protected this would be. You know, if there was like one more foot of water and you could be sure that you could get out of here the next morning, this is a good spot back here. Splits off and goes in two directions too. So you could fit 3 or 4 boats back here. Here's the end of it. And as you can see, there are fish back here. River wants to catch them. Probably carp. He does not care though. What a beautiful little spot. Yeah, it would be very hard for any wind to get in here. Completely surrounded. Nice little cool. So if the water was a little bit higher in here, look how this would all be. That would all be water. That whole area back in there. In summer pooling, you could come back in here. Yeah, I never knew this spot was here. And this little island, if you could get all the way around this island in summer pooling, that would be a gorgeous little place to stay. No wind would ever find you in here. This is very unique. I'm gonna put it on my Navionics. Let me see if I can get a picture of it from Google Earth. This is just a little inlet tucked away. Right next to Crooked Creek here. I really like that old worn dock right here. It's really cool. River thinks we're getting on. Something bad happened there. I don't think anyone would purposely do that. But there are no boats involved with it, so maybe it is something they purposely did. Alright, so it just come right in off the Tennessee River, and it cuts back on itself, and it just goes and surrounds this whole neighborhood so that people on both sides of the block can have their own docks. It's a really cool, clearly planned out neighborhood. And then the waterway, the land that's near the waterway that's on the Tennessee River that would be susceptible to flooding has RV parks and raised houses along it. And then when you get back in here where basically the hill's so high that even when it floods it doesn't get up into the neighborhood, it turns into really nice, lovely houses. And just gorgeous sand beaches along the whole side of everything. There's some like riprap, like where they made the beach to make it so you can get in no matter what. That you can tell that was man-made there. But you know, most of it is just they raised the water level to make it fit right in here. One inlet goes way back into the woods right there. It's probably very shallow. But there's no houses around it and no docks, it looks like. So that would be a good place to park the houseboat during the summer. And then look at this lake. And you know, when you're driving along on the Tennessee River, you don't realize this is here. You just have no clue. It looks like a little tiny inlet. And then you come in here and it's this huge grand lake. Look how far it goes back. All the way up into the hills over there. Place is so special. That's why it's able to eat up so much rainwater without the level of the water going up too high. You know, you could dump water in here for a week and it would still spread out evenly all back into these backwaters. Yeah, this is really cool. And that all turns into national forest right over there. So all the houses there's no more houses over there. They're just along the river right here. This is a beautiful neighborhood. Imagine growing up here and being able to fish all along the shoreline. Oh, there's a dog on land. River doesn't see him yet. German Shepherd. Beautiful dog. And there's a boat way back there. I really like the entire design of this. It's an A-frame house. I mean, it's hard not to like the dock. It's like a little, they have a diving board. Look at that huge 10-foot, 8-foot diving board right there. That's really cool. And then they have a jet ski parking on the side and a water slide going back towards the house. Yeah. Pontoon, a tri-hull bunk and then a speedboat bunk. And a beautiful A-frame house with bump outs. Huge garage on one side and then a big living space on the other and a great huge deck. and a bunch of swinging chairs next to the fireplace. That's awesome. Beautiful house. Don't get much better than that. Like, you can have a lot more square footage. You could have a better boat, but why? Look at that. And that's perfect. That's the other way to go. So we're on Tom's Creek, and it is huge. Huge. And it's 16 to 18 feet deep in the middle, and then it works its way out to be really shallow on the edges. Looks like some guys are building at first I thought it's a houseboat, but in reality it's a duck blind. You can permanently mount them. You're supposed to move them out of the water every 3 months out of the year, but nobody ever moves them once they put them in. And it's just a nice place to go hunting. And you cover them with a bunch of branches. This is a beautiful little creek. I shouldn't even say little, it's huge. And some of the houses on it are stunning. I wanted to just come in here and check out how it looks. This is the inlet when we first came in, where I said the houseboat could park in here, because it's surrounded by forest. Pulling up right to that beach. Be a nice spot for the houseboat for a couple of nights. All that grass right there. So this is just a channel that comes off of Tom's Creek. Very cool. Look how wide it gets up here. I don't even know where the channel goes. It's a really beautiful little inlet here. No homes or anything around here. Just nature, refuge, and lots of fishermen making little habitats to get fish. So essentially they come in here. Some of them are by stumps, but for the most part they're actually just shallow water where they stick in a bunch of sticks and they make almost the same thing to the fish as a cypress tree coming in, like tree roots. And then they go and they run their boats and they fish by all of them. This is the entrance to Tom's Creek. It's a really nice pull up. And then it also goes way down that way too. All we did was we went up here and we made a right there, and we also went up there and went all the way around. It's huge. It's a lot of water. Beautiful houses around it. So this is the first sunny day, and it didn't get sunny until about 11 o'clock. It was cloudy and foggy until about 10 o'clock this morning. The stump that is right here, and I'll show you it a couple of times, is now back underwater. And when I got back to the boat, there was enough increase in the water that the boat actually turned sideways against the shore because there was enough room in the ropes, because the water came up so high. In like 4 hours, the water went up about, I want to say about 8 inches. During the storm, it went up a little more than a foot during those 3 days. So when Pickwick dumps water, it usually adds up to about 8 inches a day, where the river will go up 8 inches during the power making cycle during the day and then drop 8 inches during the night. just to give you a little concept of where we're at right now, we're in Morgan Creek. That's the little island that we've been staying on, and now we're using this 8 to 12 inches of increased water to come down and check the entire Morgan Creek right here that goes down. The island we're talking about in a second is right there in the center. And then the boat launch that you just saw pictures of is right over here. And this is Morgan Creek. Look how perfect that spot is right there. It's like a huge island right here that's completely forested, and we could actually go on and explore because there's enough forest that it's not all undergrowth. It's actually clear on the inside where you could walk through without being too worried. And then there's this little channel that touches, it gets real narrow right here with these 2 cypress trees. And then the island gets big on that side, and it creates a really good space where no trees would fall on your boat, and it's kind of a safety, a little tuck in there. There's a couple of markers showing that there's tree stumps, so I'm gonna go really slow, but look at how cool it would be to be parked right here. I'm gonna go that river off, maybe. We'll see. What a beautiful cypress tree. Yeah, this is a very cool little spot. I'm excited. We'll see how shallow it gets right here. River here too. Hey, get in the boat. Not touching bottom yet. Now I'm touching bottom. So we couldn't get in here with the boat. If you jump off, you gotta jump back on. It's your world. I'm just living in it, buddy. It's about 7-foot jump. You wanna go? Go. You didn't even think about it. That's where snakes hide, buddy. So I just pulled the motor up and pulled in here. It's in its highest running position right now, so we can back off of here. This is such a beautiful cypress. He's a goofball. Hey, you want to go for a ride? And he pushes us off. You're such a good boy. Yeah, you are. Where did you learn how to be such a good dog? When I was a kid, I grew up with dogs, and the dogs would sleep in my bed, I think from like age 7 on, the dogs would sleep in my bed. And sometimes we had 2 dogs and sometimes we had 1 dog growing up, but we always had dogs. Every single one of our dogs, when I lived with my parents and I was under 17 years old, as soon as they got off the leash and they were outside, they didn't know their name. They would run away, and you had to actually physically grab them. If they got out the front door, they would run away. You could yell their name all you wanted, but they didn't have any clue what their name was. It wasn't until I moved out and went to college and got my own dog when I was 17 that I owned a dog that you could let off the leash. And every one of my dogs, when you call them, they come. And I've never had a problem teaching them that. But I have friends, and I grew up with dogs that just, man, they don't know their name. The minute they get out the front door, bam, just gone. So I know that there's dogs like that, but none of mine have been that way ever since I've been an adult. And I'm glad, because I don't like having leashes. This is in winter, this is a practical island, but for the most part, this is impractical. Because you could get one rainstorm and you would have no island left. But River wants to run around and whatever. I'm gonna let him go over there. I can see that there's nothing there. Good boy. Yeah, he just wants to run. Look at him. He's a runner. You're a good boy. Oh, he saw a bird. It's on now. You wanna go for a boat ride? Let's go. Come on. It's like, Dad, I gotta pee. I'm leaving, River. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Pretty shady spot right there. That's what River's telling me over and over and over with his... He gets his... Once his bark echoes, he gets going and he loves to bark at himself. It's kind of cool. It's a little annoying too, but... When he gets those high bark... What are you doing? Bad dog, River. Get in the boat. Yeah, this is a nice little shady spot right here. Huh. I'm gonna tease him. Stay in the boat. You don't always get off. Get back in the boat right now. Come on. Get in the boat. Good boy. Yeah, just being in the shade right now just dropped us 10 degrees at least. This is interesting. I've never been back this far, and it is 4.5 feet deep with my professional depth gauge. And it really looks like something turns into a little creek right up there, but it could get shallow before then. However, we are going to go find out because I've never been back this far and it's super cool. I might have to let River off between there and now because it's so hot out. There's a little beach. I'm going to go let River jump in the water real quick and then we're going to go down. We're going to see how far we can go down there. If you want to jump, you go jump. He's gonna have to swim back to the boat. River, don't go off. You stay around here. I mean, I could turn off the motor and pull up there. We'll see if he can jump it or not. River. It's nice to be in the shade for a good 5 minutes, so it cools you down. Hey, come here, bud. Don't go over there. A bunch of the trees fell. You can see them. You can see the uprooting trunks. That's not good. Hey, come on. River, let's go. Come on. He's a good dog. don't know what that noise was. Looks like we got a stick or something. Yeah. Alright, well, we're back out into 4 feet of water. Let's go see what. I know, I'm excited too. It's a new river. It is. It's a new river to go down. It's awesome. Stop, Archie. Hey, river. Stop it. Just relax, buddy. Alright, it's a little bit more than 2 feet right here, but I don't want to run my motor into the ground or anything. So we are going to stop. It's beautiful. I'm kind of curious what's over there. I might just let the wind take us. We'll see. The wind's kind of taking us now. We'll see. Let me see how deep it is. Oh, it's gotten a little deeper. Alright, we'll keep going. I'm curious if it turns a corner up there. I don't know why. It's always the next bend. You always got to get to the next bend, right? It's just something in your head that you have to see. It's part of exploring, I think. It's definitely what River likes to do. I've never met another dog that's so excited about just driving around in the boat and going to new places and new smells. He loves this stuff. You say get on the boat and it's full speed. Jumps right on there, ready to go. Yeah. He's a happy dog. He's a good match for me. Very good match. So there is no bend. It's a dead end. Beautiful dead end, but just a dead end nonetheless. We are going to turn back. Just in time too. Look where I just started touching the ground. Look at, yeah. Going back towards the main channel. I'm gonna check out this island and see what the approach is like. There's a bald eagle. This is open to the wind, so if you weren't getting any serious wind, this would be a good place to park and handle warm days. Just getting a nice breeze going, you know. Oh, that's a pretty good approach. Pretty good approach. Stay over here. He's a good boy. That's another island where the trees aren't big enough to really hurt the boat if they fell on it. It's actually a really cool island. don't know what time it is. It's 3 o'clock and it's starting to get a little bit of shade. This approach isn't as good. It's really shallow. We'll see if we can even get up there. Huh? River! Hey! Hey! Don't chase anything. Come on, bud. Don't chase stuff. Nope. Nope. We're not doing that. You're gonna get in trouble. Look how he looks back at me. He's so naughty. No, come here, bud. Get over here. Stay over here, buddy. I like how he gives that look back like, I hear you, but I'm not gonna listen to you. River, no. Come on, man. Stay on this side of the island, buddy. Good boy. You a good boy. Yeah, it's kind of a cool island. He's not leaving like muddy footprints, so it's probably pretty solid. It's probably a dead fish right where he's rolling right now. That's river for you. Nope. See, it took him a second and then he went right back to it. Come on, let's go. I'm leaving. You're naughty, dude. You got problems. We got a pretty good breeze. I bet you the boat's not even being hit at all where it's at. We found just like the perfect little spot where there's no wind possible to get in there. Not angry wind anyways. Get down. Hey! Alright, if I get bit doing this, it's your fault. This is a quarter. So it's much bigger than a quarter. I don't want to scare it. We're going off for our little sunset cruise like we always do. And it's beautiful out, don't get me wrong, but when there's no clouds in the sky, the sunset is just orange. It's like when you see the sunset over the ocean or over the Great Lakes even, and there's no clouds, it's this big orange line that just goes dunk and disappears. But the clouds are what make it beautiful for me a lot of the time. Yeah, you could tell when someone's being picky about a sunset view. They're spoiled. River and I are very spoiled when it comes to sunrises and sunsets. We just have them. This has been a great episode. We've been exploring a lot of waterways with the increased level of water that we got during winter pooling here with the storm and the hurricane in Florida sending us so much rain. The next couple of episodes are going to be really interesting. I have a couple of really good sponsors that I'm going to bring on board. One you've seen before, but the outcome is going to be I'm going to add solar panels to this boat. And a lot of people have been talking about that, and I've been saying, you know, if I got someone to sponsor me, I would do it. Well, there's some coming in the mail, so we're going to talk about that in the next couple of episodes. Also, I'm selling a boat for one of my friends. I'm going to handle the sale of it, and I'm going to do a boat tour and a boat, basically a breakdown of why this boat would be great for not only the Great Loop, but to live aboard. If you needed a cabin, instead of buying a cabin, you come and live aboard this boat, it would be perfect for you. So the next couple of episodes are going to be real interesting. I'm also going to briefly talk about getting a new dinghy and how I haven't been able to acquire a sponsor for that. I've been trying for the last year and I had no luck. So I want to show you this dinghy real quick and see what we're talking about. Now we'll go in detail about how I've been trying to fix it and how I am going to continue to try to fix it. But This is the old school kind that has a wooden floor, which means it rots away, and you can see where my heavy self stands when we hit waves has broken through on that board, and where river stands has broken through on that board, which allows the dinghy to scrunch up a little bit and makes the sitting of the motor sit different. So instead of going 18 miles an hour, we can only go 10 and 12 miles an hour. And my worry at some point is that if there's not enough air in the front, which you can see during the shaded times of the day, that starts to not have enough air in it, then the sun comes out and puffs up. My worry is that it might collapse in or pull in if we hit a big wave or hit something, which would make the propeller of the motor lift up, and I don't know, I'm a little scared of it. So long story short, over the next couple of months, I'm going to bring up into each episode a GoFundMe page that River started. I didn't do anything. River got online and he wants a new boat. That's just basically all he's been talking about. And the more I think about it, my episodes, as much as we like to talk about it being a houseboat and sailboat and RV thing, no matter where I'm at, I'm in my dinghy. Like, I basically 90% of my videos is me and my dog exploring in the dinghy. So if people have been watching for years, or if you just picked up on the channel this year, crowdsourcing is a good way where you basically give $1 and you get a few hundred people to give $1, and before you know it, you have some actual money in the account to try to purchase things for this dinghy, or hopefully at some point a new dinghy. So I'll put the link in the description and in the comments. If you can donate, that's great. If you can't, don't bother. Don't worry about it. It's not, if I drive this dinghy 5 miles an hour instead of 12 miles an hour for the next 2 years, it's not going to hurt me. It is what it is. So don't go to any lengths that you can't. But when you see GoFundMe and the way that GoFundMe works, essentially it's crowdfunding where everyone gives $1 or everyone gives $5, and it doesn't really hurt any individual, but it does accumulate to an amount of money for the person's goal. And I think that if you were to watch this episode a year from now and we're in a new dinghy that you helped buy, it would be interesting to say, well, hey, I helped buy that boat that they're driving around in and that River's on the front of. So that link will be in the description in the next couple of months. And we'll see how that works. The other thing is, I'm going to try to fix the floor. And so one of the next episodes in the next couple of months will be 35 minute episode of me cutting up that floor and trying to replace it with some pressure treated wood. And we'll see how that goes. We're going to try it. I mean, it is what it is. I appreciate you watching. Sorry it's so long. There's been a lot of exploring and we've had a little bit of extra time between the videos. But I'm going to work on that. I'm going to try to do 2 videos a week and kind of go from there and show you this whole area. We've gone down to mile marker 125 all the way up to mile marker 100 in the last 10 videos. So you've kind of gotten 25 miles of this river and the backwater parts of it. So talk to you next time. Thank you.